All right, welcome back to Conversations about Messages in Capitalism and Marketing in America, Part 2. Today we're going to be talking about a couple of subjects that are, which don't really seem intertwined on the surface, but they really are. The primary theme of this video is going to be manufactured scarcity, which I will elaborate on how each of the related subjects kind of tie into it. But I also want to touch a little bit on what I kind of see going on with just the East Palestine situation really quick. I had somebody ask me, why do I care about what's going on in my hometown if what happened where it did? And our water supply does come from the Ohio River. It is filtered, of course, but of course, you can't just filter vinyl chloride out of your water supply super easily. We weren't really informed. Like, I didn't really hear about the real disaster itself until several days in. I know the actual incident happened on February the 3rd. I didn't hear about it until the 11th myself. And if it takes 5 days for that to travel down river, I can guarantee you there was probably already some sort of thing in the water. And we just didn't know about it. And that's really scary. But I do think that this whole incident has at least helped me shed a light on something here locally that a lot of people worry about. Our water quality in general. We have boil water advisories pretty often. Sometimes they'll have the water shut off for extensive periods of time to work on it. And I've shown you the coal runoff in the black bands on that little river on my TikTok. And another little quick housekeeping tidbit here. Please, if you're not following me on TikTok, follow me on TikTok. We are going to talk a little bit about, this is going to be a separate video, but just a preview. I do want to talk about Congress's now urge to ban TikTok in the United States, and how that is fascist censorship, and I am very disappointed that proposal has any bipartisan support at all. As much as I don't like conservative commentary, I do appreciate them coming out here to make a fool of themselves. That way we have something to arm ourselves against when we get up to them and we face these people in real life. So thank you for that. But as far as that goes, just please follow me on TikTok. Please give me a like and subscribe here. Just tell your friends about me. This is a whole, like, I am diving into this as my own project, as somebody with lived experiences, with somebody with a degree in marketing, with somebody who has become completely disillusioned with the entire system from the inside out, and just see how it's just rotten to the core. And I just really want to educate people on how they, not like, I'm not saying they as in like that whole proverbial they. What I mean by they is how the the corporation owners want their brands and products to be perceived to promote certain behaviors. If we're going to talk about something called Maslow's hierarchy, if you've taken any kind of marketing or sociology or psychology course, you may be already familiar with this term, but it basically breaks down human beings into a set of wants and needs that need to be met, right? And it escapes me what they are off the top of my head. I tried to film this video earlier, but it just didn't come out the way I wanted it to. So I'm trying to film it here in the evening, so I'm sorry if the lighting's really crappy, but the content is better. I'm trying to get better at writing more engaging content, making it more entertaining for you. So we're going to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs really quick. And I want you to consider what advertisements and certain articles you read in the news make you feel as you consider this list of needs. So there are 5 tiers. There are the physiological ones, which is your food. You have to breathe, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, excretion, just maintaining yourself, being healthy, having a productive body. I wouldn't necessarily put sex on there for everybody, but if you are somebody that craves sexual gratification, that would be included in that tier. And then we're going to move up another tier. This is safety. And this is shaped in a pyramid. It kind of gets more and more esoteric as the pyramid gets smaller. And esoteric is one of my favorite words because the first time I ever heard it was in Family Guy. But it basically means like a specific group has this knowledge, you know, or it's a specific like thought or idea that people share, and not only like a select group share. So safety, the safety tier has security of body, employment, resources, morality, the family, health, property, the things that make us feel secure in where we are, who we are, and what we are. Very, very basic needs. And then we have the love and belonging, friendship, family, sexual intimacy. Now, again, for some people, these may not be like super important to them, but for most people, the one or more of these relationships are needed to feel fulfilled by the individual. We move up the next tier to esteem, which is self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, and respect by others. So this is the value we get from interacting with in ourselves, within the environment around us, how people around respond to us and our ideas. It is how we develop that sense of how we feel about ourselves and how secure we feel in that. And that is definitely a need for most if not all people. I can't speak for everybody. Obviously, there are a plethora of different, I don't want to call them mental disorders, but like personality types that may fall into different spectrums that just don't feel those emotions. And it's very interesting to consider that some or not all of these are essential, because I would say that most of these things that we are talking about in Maslow's hierarchy are super essential for most people. So in the highest tier, we have concepts of self-actualization. We have morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, and acceptance of facts. This right here is vastly different for everybody, especially that last one that we are going to talk about. There is acceptance of facts and lack of prejudice. So what I'm trying to say is, when we look at things into the conservative lens, the lack of prejudice and acceptance of fact means something completely different to them and are essential to their identity, where we see it in a completely different light, definition, in fact, in our own right on the left. So again, what I'm trying to emphasize is that it is what they consider those two things, prejudice and acceptance of facts, are becoming core principles of their identity, and they're kind of like doubling down on it at this point. So I just kind of wanted to go over that hierarchy of needs and kind of let you know about that, because I will be referring back to it um, quite often as I'm talking about how certain ideas fulfill those needs. And also um, the I'll also be referring to another thing here. Let's see. I will be linking down in the description below. Umberto Eco makes a list of the 14 common features of fascism. I refer to this a lot too when I'm identifying certain behaviors through legislation and attempt to control certain things on the right. So 14 points of fascism. So I like to keep these kind of screenshotted or kind of in a folder as well. So now that you guys kind of have some of the content that I have there, we can kind of get started, because we are going to kind of marry Maslow's hierarchy with the 14 points of fascism and see how people build their identity around these issues. As we move forward. So today's meat and potatoes is a little thing I like to call manufactured scarcity. It might not be a term that you're familiar with if you've never had an economics course before, or you've never really scratched that itch, you don't know much. It's okay. Manufactured scarcity is basically what it sounds like. They are producers create some sort of call to action based on the particular product being either available for a limited time or in a limited quantity. Now, whether or not to say that certain current events are manufactured scarcity events, I can't say that. But when there are a lot of shortages going on and things like that, it makes you wonder. But manufactured scarcity, I want to talk in specific relation to the panic over the decreasing population, specifically the population of white people in the United States. This is ultimately, I want to go ahead and dispel the myth that population decline is any problem, because there are certain glaring truths that we all kind of don't want to admit, but a lot of jobs are becoming more and more automated, and we are kind of almost in a race with the clock to see because these companies aren't going to stop investing in something that could ultimately save them a lot of money and time when they have to, if they employ so many people, they have to buy health insurance and all of these extra things, trying to erase low-wage workers from the equation completely. And it almost feels that way sometimes because, they're looking to automate simple things like, drive-through worker jobs and things like that. So the idea that we don't have enough workers to fill the jobs right now is very ludicrous. But at the same time, the quality of those jobs and if they are worth filling is completely unnecessary. Of course, universal health care would remove that kind of incentive for everybody to be looking for that next best job, and maybe employers could be able to expect some sort of a long-term loyalty from their employees. But currently the job market does not encourage or reward that. And that's really on employers and not employees' fault. You know, it's a rigged system, and we have to find ways to kind of like cheat forward, and it's not the most fun because it's your survival kind of depend on that. But keeping in mind with the population crisis, this is ultimately rooted in white nationalism in the United States. Now, I know that there are also aging populations around the world, but the solution is really the same. Is you need to tax your ultra rich people. You need to invest in healthcare for the elderly and help keep them independent as long as possible, because you know, elderly people spend money on things. They kind of generate tax revenue for the system and kind of give back that little bit in their last years. And it's just really nice to see people be able to live out their golden years in a little bit of comfort, just being able to enjoy the things that they want to do, because people deserve that. And I know that's so crazy to hear somebody say, but I really do think people deserve some peace at the end of their life that's not in a box in the ground covered with dirt. Oh Lord, it is getting dark. Hang on, let me pause this really quick. Okay, I guess I can't pause it. Well, I'm gonna try to hit a ring light. I guess maybe I can. Like, possibly. One thing about me, I probably have it. It's just probably shoved in a weird place. But where was I? Oh yeah, manufactured scarcity. So basically how we solve this is we need to tax the rich, the ultra rich, and we need to make sure that they're paying their fair share of elderly care and making sure that our healthcare is properly funded, which, you know, everybody has harped on till they're blue in the face, but we do not need to stop. That's the only thing that is keeping this thing like moving forward, is people are still yelling. Oh Lord. I really want to plug this thing in and I can't figure out how to do it. Please be patient. I am very bad with technology. I don't even know what I'm doing. Woo! Please stand by. We are having technical difficulties. Oh God, that's bright. That's brighter than my future. Let's try this out. I don't think this is gonna go well, but how do I know what I'm doing? I have messed up. Wait, maybe it's okay. 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 I think it's okay now. Like, it's not great, but can we make do? Is this better? I know, like, the lighting change is so drastic, but I only have this one ring light, and I think that's the best I can do. This looks awful. It's so bad. It's so bad. Maybe if I put it in here. Maybe if it was, like, not over the camera, it would be better. I'm gonna say fuck that. And we are just gonna turn the bedroom light on. this is still not the greatest lighting. I'm sorry, it's really overcast today, and it's been overcast for a few days, and it's just not been great to film. But, okay, where were we? Oh yeah, manufactured scarcity, provide for the elderly. Another thing is, like, this manufactured scarcity is a deeply ingrained capitalist principle. And like I said before, the idea that we're not going to have enough workers, we have enough workers now to fill jobs. It's just the jobs are not worth filling because of the absolute, like, companies are basically just allowed to run wild with how they treat people here. It's wild. And then, of course, like, in general, it's just people wanting to make as much money as possible by instilling a sense of fear, making them afraid that they're not going to be, secure in their family and their social group and those types of things. So that's how that's going to tie back into Maslow's hierarchy. But when we visit our 14 points of fascism really quick, I do want to point out, yes, I know I have a lot of photos, that we are already seeing a disdain for the recognition of human rights with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, an obsession with national security with the obsession with the border and immigration. Religion and government are intertwined with a plethora of Christian policies being shoehorned through state and federal legislature. Labor power is suppressed. And this is the whole, like, I want to talk to you guys about this message in particular, that nobody wants to work. No, we're just realizing our value. And a lot of us would rather take a chance on fulfilling ourselves instead of fulfilling anyone else right now. And this is just a personal anecdote to go along with that, but I did work for a local family-owned business, and a lot of really great people still do that I love very much, but I have a history of having ovarian cysts. I've always had them. They hurt really bad. I've had them burst before. It's not very fun. And there was just one day, like, I was shaking. I was in a sweat. My side hurt. Like right down here near my hip. And I was like, this feels so similar. And I've only had it once before, so like when it happened again, I was like, this is the exact same symptoms. And it just made me so sick, and I begged. Like, I should not have done this, and I recognize I shouldn't have done this, and I had every right to just go and leave and get medical help. But I did ask my boss if I could leave to go to the emergency room, and they're like, well, it's kind of a busy Saturday. We can't really have anybody leave right now. And I did understand, like, there was somebody else out at the time, but it really wasn't that busy, and I was in so much pain, I just didn't care. Like, I was so convinced that I was having, like, an ovarian cyst rupture or something, and it's kind of hard to tell now, because whatever's happened has happened, and I already have kind of scar tissue from having cysts before, so it kind of sucks on that level where you can't really tell what's going on, but it's just part of it. And that was kind of it was one of the final straws for me, not like the final straw. I think where I'm at now, I'm a lot happier with. It's just a lot harder work, and it's a lot more individual work, and it's a lot more self-motivated, and And I'm struggling with that because I don't, like, I definitely struggle with feelings of just not being secure in myself and not feeling good enough. So, within manufactured scarcity, it does play on those insecurities that we feel within ourselves. If you've ever watched a commercial that makes you feel vulnerable because you don't have a certain type of insurance, that plays on a certain type of security you need to feel for yourself and your family. If you've ever, I mean, just even basic things like grocery store commercials or that Texas Roadhouse commercial, or even simple things like a banner ad, are going to try to appeal to one of those like 5 tiers of your basic human needs. Um, for men, where they typically have a very high sex drive, that's why you see a lot of sexual ads aimed at men. I'm going to see if I can learn to edit. And over here, I'm going to put one of my favorite ads of all time. That's from early Nintendo. That's very explicit in nature for something that we now consider so much of a family brand. And I really do love looking at how certain brands advertising has evolved through time. So let me know if you'd like me to make that a series going forward as I learn to make things a little bit better for you here. So in summary, this has been a little bit of a longer video, but I do have to cut out that part where I went and turned on the light. Manufactured scarcity is a big part of this population panic that's going on. And what they want all the people for, I really just don't know, because we definitely have enough people to fill the jobs. We have enough resources and money to support, caretakers and things for the elderly. We just don't do it because of corporate greed, of course, because this is America and we can't write a new ending yet. I don't know why. So that's the end of this video. This has been Manufactured Scarcity. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want me to continue these different concepts in messages and marketing, and if this was any better than my last one. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Have a really, really fun set of topics for you. Thank you so much. Bye.